hammer our delusion. It comes after some time when you are keep on contemplating and reflecting. Otherwise, we forget to hammer the delusion. And hammering the delusion is purely internal process, by thought process, by contemplation and reflection. Joy of attachment. Joy of attachment is happening inside. Joy of attachment or joy of indulgence is happening inside. Do you see that? Joy of attachment and indulgence and of joy of obsession is happening inside. Joy of possession is happening inside me. It is not, I possess a particular car, so joy of obsession is happening inside me. And we don't recognize that it is the joy of possessing the car is not there. It is the joy of the delusion. And that is why Master says that we need to be aware where we are. So when you hammer the delusion, it's a joy of discernment and dispassion. It's a joy of inner calmness. First time you recognize the calmness can be independent, peace can be independent, happiness can be independent of anything, any event, any situation outside. So I have to recognize that. Only you can recognize that. Attachment to desires, being controlled by craving and wants, leads to impurity of the mind. Projection. So after I project happiness on some situation, some event, some object, and then there is a joy in food, joy in car, joy in possessing the home. Joy of ego who says, how dare you? So what is the result? When I say, how dare you, and I don't meet your expectation? So there is an inner joy of the ego, it continues. But if someone takes the unexpected turn, and then there is a anger, I allow the anger to rise frequently because of the joy of ego. These are all delusion, greed, an excessive desire for possession and power pollutes the mind. Think, you have to think of it. If you do not think, if you do not repeat listening and contemplate and thinking, it will not happen. We have also the joy of ego over our kids. How dare you? I am your father. I am your mother. What happens to you? Then what? And your kid says, then what? Finished. Then we also have a joy of indulgence that creates the jealousy. Joy of arrogance. There is a joy of laziness. So there are endless series of the joy of indulgence, joy of possession, joy of attachment, which causes the delusion. Now just think of the opposite. Joy of living within. I have to recognize it. I have to experience it. I have never experienced it. That is why the Master says, listen and learn, contemplate and reflect. Continue the practice until one day mind says, wow, I have. There is no situation outside, I'm still happy. There is no condition outside, I'm still happy. There is no possession outside, I'm still happy. First time you will recognize that is the beginning of an awakening. Oh, without any reason, I'm happy. So Master declares, this happiness, this peace, is because the mind has changed inside. What changes has come to the mind? In the mind, there is a sense of equanimity. How the equanimity comes? Because of the discernment, not because of the judgment. I think I made it very clear. In judgment, we have a biased perception. We are attached either with the likes or dislikes. But in discernment, we keep the likes and dislikes at bay. We see the real picture. My master used to talk about it. A flute expert. Oh, he sings such a beautiful flute. But the other guy recognizes that he is a thief. But he is both. He's a thief also, and he is a great flute singer. Now, I pick up that he is a great flute singer, so I love him. Second person picks up that he is a thief. He hates. So what has happened? My mind has changed the perception. I should not do it in my life. And it takes time. It is a gradual process. Once you live into that state, you are in the state of not only equanimity, out of the equanimity, the compassion descends into your mind. It is not a practice of compassion. It is awakening to the compassion. Compassion is already within me. It hides because of I am judgmental. It reveals because of the dispassion and discernment. Then you have a natural focus in your life. Natural focus. A sense of detachment is always there. Contentment is there. So these are all, you have already hammered the delusion, and you know that now you are living into that state. You have a tremendous courage, my friend. You have a sense of integrity. You have a sense of humility. You have a sense of clarity. You have a sense of peace. I'm not talking of philosophical, I'm not talking of the dream. That is what all our great masters have realized by following these principles. So we have two options: is the joy of indulgence or joy of conscious living. Joy of conscious living, there is no place for the delusion. Joy of indulgence, joy of possession, joy of arrogance, joy of ego. We all have it in some quantity, including me. So gradually we dissolve it days after days, moment after moment, and you will see that you are settled into that state of calmness and peace. You are not tired. You are not fatigued. You don't have a sense of anxiety. You don't have a sense of duality in your daily life. Why it happened? There is a change of the mind. Because of the change of the mind, there is a change in the there is a perception. There is a new perception. Consciousness is the same. Now I can recognize there is an original consciousness. It is a sun. It is not a moonlight. Why I say that? So moonlight minus moon is sunlight. Are you sure? See that? I'm using a simple phrase to make you understand. Moonlight minus moon is sunlight. Attachment to something minus that object, attachment does not remain there. When you say, I've been attached for 10 years and now it is very difficult. No, it is not difficult. Understanding is difficult. Dropping attachment is not difficult, my friend. Are you getting it? Attachment is not, to leave the attachment is not difficult. Because I don't see it correctly. When I don't see the correctly, the joy of attachment continues. Hammer the delusion. What a beautiful text. The more you study, the more every time I get something new. And I gave you just simple, you listen and learn, you do the repeat listening, then sit down alone and contemplate and reflect. Oh, is the joy of attachment. My mind is creating the thought pattern pertaining to an object or a person or a situation or an event, and then this mind triggers with an excitement, and then I realize that after some time I realize it was all the joy of attachment. After some time. Hammer the delusion means that I have to hammer it here and now by discernment and dispassion. Do whatever you are doing. We are not saying don't do it. Don't go and eat pasta. You like pasta, eat pasta. Minus joy of attachment. So that now what happens? The joy, the inner joy comes there. You go to the restaurant. Inner joy expresses itself in a restaurant and also in eating pasta. So what happens to the attachment? The attachment is not there. Delusion is gone and you are happy. And gradually you will come to know that by repetition of eating the pasta is not required. So after few times you have repeated, again mind says, let us go to it, eat pasta. No, let us be at home, cook the food, and because the joy is inside. Joy is inside. That is the beauty of this hammer the delusion. It has to be a contemplation and reflection process. Then first time you recognize delusion appears as a mistaken perception, false assumption, emotional dependence. I'm using different words on the things that keep on changing. Nothing is going to happen to the sunlight, whether the moon is there or not. Now use that moon as an object and a person where there is a joy of attachment and indulgence. Is there, your mind is already clear. Mind is clear. Now, if I have a joy of giving the lesson, does anything wrong happens? Does delusion happens? No. I'm talking about the wisdom. So if I'm living into that wisdom, even if there is no class, there is always a joy. Because I start with the joy, inner calmness, inner compassion. Pay attention. That is what, the journey of mindfulness is, journey of meditation is. And that is where lies the awakening and realization. Fundamentally, if I say fundamentally, spiritual ignorance. This is a spiritual ignorance about our true nature is the root delusion. Why I say use the word spiritual ignorance? I don't know who am I. I don't know where your house is. It is not a spiritual ignorance. Yeah, you see that? So I'm adding an adjective, spiritual ignorance, that I don't know who am I. Am I made up of the joy of indulgence, joy of possession, joy of indulgence? No. Delusion is also caused, and I told you, by the ego. Anxiety about impermanent things, clinging to toxic relationship, addiction to lot of pleasures, blaming others. Blaming others, we enjoy a great pleasure. And that what I say is the gossip. But it doesn't mean that I should not do a critical evaluation. I should talk. I should communicate how you did the wrong thing. But not enjoying that, finding that, discernment and dispassion. Self-hatred. When we can't control anything, we have a self-hatred. These are all different examples of delusion. Now think of it, what perpetuates delusion? Habitual mental pattern. I don't think consciously. Keep the delusion going on. Oh, again, this guy has come. So I have already created an impression about that guy in my mind. So it will cause delusion. Habitual mental pattern, whether it pertains to the food or the clothes or anything. Now, I am totally free. Our past conditioning, our likes and dislikes, our biases. So, in order to hammer the delusion, I investigate, I become aware of those past conditioning, likes and dislikes, biases, and get it. Once you understand, oh, here is a bias, here is the likes and dislikes, it will dissolve by itself, there and then. Oh, you see, what I have to do with this? So that is why bhaj govindam, recall, repeat, realize, relive. Attachment is not chasing you. I am chasing an attachment. So when I realize I am chasing an attachment, attachment is not chasing me. That is what you are hammering the delusion. You recognize there is no joy of possession. It is the possession which is chasing me. You have recognized you are hammering the delusion. Just understanding, hammering the delusion. And that is the entire process, we say, is known as the self-inquiry. Self-inquiry. Self-inquiry, that I want to know the true nature of myself. Can the sunlight be available without the moon? Answer is yes. So it is a projection. So I have to ask myself, is it possible that I can continue to exist without any pleasure from a contact with an object and a person and a relationship? And answer is yes. You can find out that you will be totally settled in yourself. Your level of fatigue will go down. When the level of fatigue will go down, then only you will recognize that you have less hours of sleep. Don't force yourself to sleep less hours. It will backfire. I believe someone is listening who has taken it wrongly. If you are listening, it's good. If you are not, still you are not listening. You are present in a session and still you are not listening, that too is good. What should I say? So now see that we will pick up the 7th verse today. The first verse, foolishness. Foolishness pertaining to the life, we have understood. The second verse, greed. I have to understand that how the mind has created the greed, and let me have a gratitude of what I have. It will uplift me. Third verse we worked on. I'm just talking in an abstract way. I'll repeat those verses again. Beauty's attraction seals the eyes, but inner light reveals the true connection. That is the fourth one. Impermanence haunts our days. Acceptance alone can calm the mind. Fifth verse. Fair weather ties flee infirmity, but true love abides all storms. All the time. Attachment to the family. I should love the family. Why should not have a joy of attachment? So the family and the friends depends on the wealth. That is what we did. And the sixth verse we did it. Vigor attracts, but I have to recognize the same thing, moonlight and the sunlight. The seventh verse is quite interesting. Just let me translate and you become aware of where I have to hammer the delusion. When I am a boy, young, I am attached to the toys, for example. When I am young, we all know, we have all passed through the young age. So when I am young, I am attached to possibly to the opposite sex. That is how it is written. So when I'm old, then where I'm attached? I'm attached to worries, anxiety. What will happen to me? Nothing is happening. Nothing is going to happen to you. And whatever has to happen, it will happen to you. What will happen to me? And what happens? To the supreme conscious, no one else is attached. So Master is saying, I'm not attached to that pure consciousness which is my true nature. So young boy attached to the toys, play and the games. Youth is attached to the opposite sex, sensuality. Emotional changes, hormonal changes comes. Old man is attached to worries and anxiety. No one is attached to the real self because I don't know what is the real self. So ultimately what happens? My whole life becomes a waste. At a particular time, I'm attached to something at a particular age. Just be aware. Think of it. Contemplate and reflect. Every day, even for 5 minutes, find out the 5 joys of attachment to object, person, things outside in the world. Only 5 minutes. At least you become aware of it. Oh, I'm attached to this. So this is the message of the Master. Master says in childhood, one is attached to the play and the games. We can include not only one play, second game, smartphone, and long list. Same thing, one is attached to the opposite sex or sensuality, hormonal changes. Old age, we are preoccupied with the worries and anxiety. What will happen to my house? What will happen to them? But rarely a people is attached to the real self. Master is just saying that you have to change attachment, and not outside, attachment inside. I am attached to my real self. Now I remain the same. When I was a boy, when I was an adult, now I am in old age, and I remain the same. Go and pick up the same metaphor. Sunlight remains the same. My projection changes, my preferences changes because of the indulgence. The Master is saying we need not to cling to the things to be happy. We need not to project happiness outside. If I am attached to the real self, obviously the true happiness will be there. I don't want to play hide and seek now at this age. But if I have the kids at my home, I help them to play. I enjoy when they are playing. So my preferences have changed. So if I look into that, what preferences have changed and am I attached to those preferences? You will discover the joy of indulgence. How simple it is. Very simple way the Master says. And at the young age, at the old age, normally we know that. We have, because, my limbs are not working at the same pace as it is working at the young age. So then mind says, okay, let us continue to worry about something. Think. It's a beautiful, I take it as a beautiful verse. So in the old days, we may have an optic illusion, cognitive biases, unrealistic. That is one of the reasons in the old days about the dementia. Because the mind is so much bombarded with the wrong information. The way I have lived throughout my years, I have to work on that. And only one thing, I have to hammer the delusion. And if I hammer the delusion, it is gone. I'll be happy. How to hammer the delusion? I have been talking about question the assumption, false assumption and biases that distort my reality. I have to question my attachment and aversion. I have to practice self-inquiry. I have to practice self-inquiry. There is no other way. So the moment I enter into this self-inquiry, I weaken the identification with the joy of indulgence, with the joy of pleasure, with the joy of possession. And the moment you start contemplating, you have a big smile on your face. Oh, why I'm going there? Hold on, mind, calm down. And you enter into that state. So in a nutshell, the delusion prevents us from seeing the truth about ourselves and the reality. And that is why we need to hammer the delusion. And once you overcome the delusion by these steps, by understanding, you have to continue the journey. Listen and learn, contemplate and reflect, and do the practice. So what is going to happen after a few weeks? Now you recognize. You wake up in the morning, you recognize if there is a delusion or discernment. So when there is a delusion, you will find the body has a sense of fatigue, emotional and mental challenges are there when even after you wake up in the morning after 9 or 10 hours of the sleep. And even after 3 hours of this sleep, you wake up, you feel fresh. Oh, yes, there is a sense of discernment in this fashion. You will, by yourself, you can recognize. So, seventh verse is changes. And because of the change in the situation, change in my aging process, I follow the different joys of attachment and indulgences. Once I recognize it, then I can leave it. Don't you say enough is enough? Close your eyes. Eyes are closed and being comfortable and carefree. Being comfortable and carefree. First, find out the most important position of the body. Most comfortable position of the body. I will not go into being comfortable. You recognize what it means by being comfortable, what it means by being carefree. And now your mind is ready to listen the mantra. Why? Because it knows that is the way to hammer the delusion. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. May there be happiness for all. Again, I am stressing, may there be happiness for all. May there be happiness only for me is an attachment. May there be happiness for all is detachment. One is delusion, other is dispassion. Now you contemplate and reflect. So you see our Shanti mantra, may there be happy. Oh, why? Am I making an effort to make everyone happy? No. I discovered that happiness is an essential nature of every being on this earth. Simply you are contemplating, you are having this thought. So happiness is my nature also. So what is going to happen? Do you dare to be angry? Do you dare to expect the unexpected from others? Answer is no. You are free. Here and now. But repetition will help you. conscious repetition, not habitual. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. Peace consciousness. I said peace is peace consciousness. Peace not in anything outside. I'm just reminding you. So what is that reminder? You are reflecting on it. So your mind is not insisting on chasing something outside. When, here and now, and when it is not chasing anything outside, what happens? You discover that peace. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness for all. I believe you all have understood the idea, the perception of completeness. If I have a sense of completeness in me, why should I chase anyone in the world, whether it's a person or relations or a money? It doesn't mean that I don't need them. I made it very clear. I don't chase them. I believe it makes you clear. So you are calm and relaxed. And now deal with all the challenges of your life. So you live an awakened life. Sarvesham, Sarvesham, Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham, Mangalam Bhavatu. I told you before, this woman lives nearby, and she says that I go for a morning walk every day for about an hour, and I keep reciting this mantra mentally. And then what happens? Then I'm simply aware of what is happening near and around me, but I have no attachment or aversion to any person who are walking beside me, any car, any home, as if I'm totally oblivious of it. I can tell you that can happen. It's all a matter of practice. Why it is a matter of practice, my friend? It is a matter of practice because peace and happiness are a matter of choice. Hi there, you're already close, looking deep inside the forehead in the space. Very good. And there what you do? Look inside the forehead in the space, you drop Om Shanti and start breathing quick and gentle breath into the rib cage. Expansion of the ribs during inhalation and contraction of the rib cage during exhalation. You are not attached to the rib cage. You are not attached to the breathing. Pay attention. Why? Because let the time come, we will leave everything. How I will know it, how you will know it, we will all know together. Continue, quick and short breath, body is steady, Om Shanti continues, and that you can check by yourself. You can check yourself, body is steady, Om Shanti is happening, and at the same time, Om Shanti is also happening, breathing, stillness in the body continues. Just continue doing it. So, what is going to happen, my friends, that your mind will object to it and you endure it. Your mind shows you different variety of experiences. You accept and recognize it. In one case, you endure it. In other case, you recognize and accept. So acceptance does not mean that you are attached. You have a certain preferences. And you continue breathing, my friends, continue. As if you are enjoying breathing, that is a sense of detachment from the breathing. At the same time, Om Shanti is being dropped inside the forehead. That too is a helps your mind to remain within. Continue breathing through your nostrils into the rib cage, stillness in the body. Continues, Om Shanti continues. And now stop, allow the breath to be normal. Follow the breath flow. Check if the flow of the breath is less in any nostril. Continue to pay attention and see within few seconds the flow becomes equal through both the nostrils. Very important point. And you will recognize if you are doing the regular practice at your home, it is not too far. When you recognize that the flow of both the nostrils are equal within few seconds, what it means? It simply means the mind is living within. That is an indirect way of knowing it. And gradually you will have an experience what it means. So you recognize and accept cognition, whether it's a modern psychology or Eastern wisdom. Cognition means the same thing. Cognitive ability means the same thing. So what modern psychology? Cognitive ability to know the problem. Here we are not concerned with that. We are more concerned about our real nature. Looking deep inside the forehead again into the space, Om Shanti continues. And start breathing into the belly, long in the hissing breath, keeping the body in the state of steadiness. It is a longer breath into the belly, so the hissing sound is little more. So endurance, you need a greater endurance because you are breathing for a longer time into the belly. It means I don't want to go into that physiological and biochemical changes. The longer the breath rate, more oxygen you consume. So oxygen concentration increases to a certain degree, which helps you to get out of the anxiety and other stuff. We have already bypassed those smaller things in our life by this journey. So that's why I do not talk about that. Continue. Longer the breath, the better it is. Continue inhaling into the belly. Om Shanti, stillness in the body. Continue. So if your body is moving again and again, you have to maintain your awareness. Maybe if your body is moving too much today, you may have a lot of anxiety. That's how maybe anxiety, maybe some issues is bothering you. That is what we need to notice. You are evolving consciously. You know what we are doing. I don't hide anything in the journey. Why? Because I want to make you the master of your life. Everything in the Eastern wisdom is an open secret. Continue. Today I have already done in the morning, so I'm not doing too much. I've done it for 15 minutes. You see that you're doing belly breathing. You may have done 10 breaths, and after that, suddenly the mind says a sense of exhaustion. You wait for a second, and the next moment, you have an endurance and restart. You don't give a chance to the mind to relax before you start, because the mind is already relaxed. Just check it. It will happen. That is how I also used to do. And stop, allow the breath to be normal. Stop this hissing breath. Maintain the steadiness in the body and pay attention to the flow of the breath. Maybe this week, when you are doing the three types of breathing on your own, you already know it. So every time you can use the stopwatch, you do it for 4 or 5 minutes each. And after every 5 minutes you have completed, continue to pay attention on the flow of the breath, maybe for another 5 to 10 minutes and see what happens. And if you find in one of any breath, you are totally absorbed, I need not to say anything. You will share your experiences with me. It is used as a mystical practice, but nothing mysticism about it. And now looking inside the forehead again, Om Shanti, steadiness in the body, and start breathing from both from the belly and the rib cage. It's a long, deep, hissing breath. You find the expansion of the belly and the rib cage, and you find the contraction of the belly and the rib cage with every exhalation. Om Shanti continues. You already know everything. So when you know everything, you are aware and alert. The moment you find any sense of exhaustion, obviously, the mind triggers you and asks you to stop. Yes, no issue. And the next moment you endure it, so you continue. And the stillness in the body continues. You're continuing with the third type of the breathing. You endure it. You have sudden surge of new experiences. It may be a calmness, the waves, the vibrations along the spine, some vision in the colors. We will let the time come. I'll talk about those things also. Now stop this. Allow the breath to be normal. Pay attention to the flow of the breath, and you already know what needs to be done. In the beginning, I'm saying you are holding on the body to a state of stillness, but when you are totally absorbed into the flow of the breath and its awareness, you will discover as if the body is made still by some unseen forces from inside. Why? Because senses are totally withdrawn. So those, sometimes people say it is out of the body experience, but they don't have a right explanation for it. You have out of the body experience every time you are in deep sleep, every day. Why? You don't know the body, but here you know it. Now is the time to do the Om Shanti on the 16 segments of a finger. Now the mind is clear, mind is withdrawn inside, and it is the right time. What is the difference, Om Shanti? It's a mind's eye, it's a mind's ear, it's a mind's touch, it's a mind's tongue who is saying Om Shanti. You're not moving your fingers, you're not moving the thumb on these 16 segments of the finger. And so you have a conscious experience of withdrawal. When we don't have any conscious experience of the withdrawal, then the sense organ, because of the habit, because of the impulses, continues to move outside. That is why I have been pleading. Please keep the practice continuous. Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Or it may be very long because your mind gets absorbed, or your mind may be deluded by some other thought. In both the cases, so there may be a mixture, and I have to recognize whether the mind is moving with the discernment or the mind is moving with the delusion. Both can happen. In both the cases, we find the experience is more or less is the same. Either I'm feeling sleepy or I'm totally absorbed. And drop this. Step also now. Look deep inside the cave of your heart, the equilateral triangle pointing upward, of any color. Any color will do. And then moving the mind with the mantra on the triangle clockwise and anti-clockwise gently. Understanding if you are sinking the side of the triangle movement of the mind on the side and the mantra. If that happens, you be aware of the center of the triangle where you sing Om, pushing the mind deep inside. So you are still aware, mind seemingly stops. Shanti, self-absorption. Stay there. That is our real nature. I am always still. I am always all-pervading. Well, any disturbances caused by the mind, you return to the triangle again, sink and move the mind again to the state of self-absorption. You know it. It is a kind of self-absorption is there and you are aware of it. In the state of the self-absorption, the mind has to do nothing. It continues to maintain awareness of that state. Am I also aware of that kind of a self-absorption? Answer is yes. If I'm not aware, then what kind of a meditation we are doing it? Doesn't make any sense. Then it may be asleep. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both your palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. If you have any question, most welcome to ask. How are you, David?
Very good, sir. And thank you for Saturday. It was really good. The lesson, I enjoyed the lesson today a lot. Kind of a follow-on to Saturday's session. I noticed, interestingly, while doing the fast breathing, that my Om Shanti chant quickly changed to no attachment for some reason. I kept saying no attachment, no attachment. And so I observed that I got extremely deep. And again, I saw faces of ancestors at the end with some indigo and bright white.
Yeah, two things. It happens. This is what everyone experiences. That is why I don't talk about the experiences first. So when you are doing the Om Shanti, you have a revelation. I'm in the state of discernment instead of an attachment. So that is what he is saying. The Om Shanti converts into a sense of discernment. Regarding ancestors, we will talk about it, that how it is related in the meditation. Let us wait for that. Wonderful Sharing of experiences. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. I think I learned a new word, gurudev.
Gurudev. Oh, yes, you have written my.
Is that another word for master?
Yeah, another word for master.
So you're my guru.
Thank you. That's all humility, yeah.
It was totally absorbed.
Totally absorbed.
I heard everything, but the mind didn't really, I don't know how I want to say it. I didn't partake in everything,
yeah.
but I was present for and aware of everything, but I didn't partake in it.
Beautiful. Yeah. It is happening on its own. Effortlessly, we are getting absorbed. That's wonderful. I used to tell my masters a Gurudev. So Gurudev is made up of two words. Guru means master and Dev means here the demigod. So that is how these two words are. Oh, thank you. How are you, Samir? Right, Samir will say you are not inviting me before. Yes. He fought with me one day. You are not inviting me first. It's okay.
Everybody will die one after another.
Yeah. Everyone has a right to. Everyone has a right to fight with me. Only.
Sir, it was very. Sir, breathing is becoming easy day by day. Means I am not now. I am first. I used to take few breaks within breathing, but now I am taking it. Means I am not taking any. I am not stopping in between, and I am enjoying the breathing also.
Good.
And when breathing is good, then meditation is also very deep.
Very good. It is. Very good. You have a lot of changes over the last 2 years. That is why I thought better to talk about it that you fought with me. But if you do not have change, I should not have spoken about it. So, how are you, Dennis?
Thank you. Very comfortable meditation, equal breathing, very deep and uniform darkness at the end, and no thoughts and enhanced awareness.
Yeah.
Like I was fully aware of the absence of thoughts and this darkness.
You're right. When we have you expressed what you expressed, the uniform darkness. So obviously, I live into the higher state of awareness. That is why it's a uniform darkness. It's a beautiful experience. Wonderful. So, how are you, Brandy? We have no chance but to smile, in this session. That's the one thing. So, how are you?
I'm okay. From the lesson I took that as we go through life, there's always something to get attached to, particularly uncomfortable things to get attached to. Although I don't know, maybe it's arguable that when you're young, I don't know. But I saw, during my meditation, I was aware of that. Like my mind kept throwing up things that, get attached to this. And it's like, why? It's not anything that I want to deal with. Yeah.
Why? Answer why. Ask why. And ask why and then move into discernment. That is what, we are learning. That's why it is taking little time. We are picking up each and every verse in a comprehensive manner. And the same thing, that is what we learned today. So if you go into the past, we remember a lot of things in our childhood, the good things and the bad things, and they both have an element of attachment and detachment in the youth also, and now at this age also. So if I look back, leave it. I'm in the state of dispassion. I'm free. That is what you said. Why? It's a very important question. Why? To yourself, not to others. Yes. How are you, Christina?
Namaste.
Namaste.
Today's lesson linked to my space was very cold and still is, and it really helped me to understand through the breathing practice. Almost, I was unaware of that discomfort and the possibility of maybe I could be unaffected by other comforts.
Yeah. You see that sense of comfort is also a habitual response of the body and the mind, because the object body is involved. The temperature coming from outside is involved, but when the mind is absorbed, you don't worry about it. You get rid of it. It's a beautiful way to explain it. Yeah, that is how we should live our life, even when we have a discomfort with a person, with a temperature, or with anything. Beautiful way. Yes, and how are you, Sam? Sam is there. Okay.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Similarly to Jerry and Samir, it was very, 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 very slow. Like I was able to slow down my breathing basically to what felt like nothing.
Good.
I came up from it. I coughed once, and it was in such slow motion. I just felt, and I felt lately like time has slowed down.
Yeah.
Because I've been able to take control of the breath, because I'm taking those big 30-second breaths, all the pain in my body that I've mentioned over the course of, many months and years of sessions is pretty much gone. I still have the moments of it, but pressure's out of my back and everything is feeling great, and I feel more aware of my surroundings and
very good
conversation.
Very good.
Using the principles.
Yes, remind yourself whenever you have discomfort, you said discomfort for many, many years. It can go away in a fraction of a second the moment we move from the delusion to dispassion. That we need to remember. Now, you don't remember the years. Remember here and now. How are you, Terry?
It was just, I felt normal.
You felt normal. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Need not to say too much. I know you at this moment don't want to say anything. Normal is a wonderful word. We got it from you. How are you, Ashok?
Sir, I am good, patient ma'am, and everything is fine.
Beautiful. You see, you all have sharing the good experiences, so you have to repeat what you have shared during the day and see that how we can live into that state of discernment and dispassion, which is minus delusion. And that is all for today. Thank you very much for joining. We'll meet again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone.